Writer, author, badass, and now podcaster. Who is it?
It's LSH.
Welcome to Talking Shit with LSH, a unique female perspective on sex, love, motherhood, relationships, careers, and the real shit women say and think about societal norms. Unleashed. It's not what you do, it's who you are. Who is it?
It's LSH.
Talking shit. At what point do we feel like in relationships, as we've talked, I don't know if we've addressed work, but certainly family and love, and we can even, as parents, those of us who are, what point do you express, I need to take 5 because this isn't working anymore?
Communication.
Well, I think it's learning yourself.
It's learning.
It starts with self. So Elle is saying it starts with self.
And I've been listening to you. It rings so true. But I'm going through that process of learn. When you learn yourself and you say, you know what, I'm here, and I made this happen. I did so many things. I worked so hard to make this happen, and I'm unhappy.
Wow.
So what do you do to get rid of that? And it's like, you just have to own that this is what I did. Communicate. This is where we are. Because sometimes, no matter how well we communicate, that other person is not where we are. And they may not make it work with us. They may say, I don't like this person. I don't like
but
you.
That, you know what, but that is, this is the best that I can do.
Yeah.
This is the best person that I can be.
Or this is the best person I want to be. Which could be either or, right?
Well, capability and ability, yeah. Mm-hmm. Some people are incapable of moving past a certain place.
Sometimes you have to say, we have to go.
Right, that's unacceptable for me.
Yeah, and then maybe take a 5.
That's what I mean. Take 5. Yeah. When do you take 5?
But what do you do when you take 5?
I don't know. That's I'm going to put that. I'm going to pose that to you.
And
yeah. What do you do?
What happens? Separation.
I'm ready to hear what take 5 is.
What happens? What take 5 is? I need to take a break from this relationship.
Yes.
That can be a male-female. That can be a family. That can be a grown adult child. Yeah. Right? It can be work. It could be a girlfriend. It could be work. I need to take 5. What does that look like when you make a decision to take 5? I think there's ownership.
Yeah, but it's not easy because you are changing an entire dynamic. I mean, especially if it's a child or if it's a best friend and you guys depend on each other or whatever, you've now turned over your whole life and you're starting something new. It's unknown and it's very scary.
Very uncomfortable.
Doesn't
feel good. So how many of us have had to take 5 from a relationship? Non-love. Maybe it's not even a marital relationship.
Yeah.
It could be so what did that look like? Did you call and say, I need a break? I need a break. We need a break.
I think sometimes in friendships, if you have long-term friendships, you just know it's time to take a break.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it depends.
It depends on the friend too.
Okay.
So
your best. I'm wondering like those that kind of real intimate, where it's really meaningful. So there's going to be a void. What does that? That's that kind of connection. Because we got a lot of acquaintances and friends. It's like if I don't see you, I'm good. But that person that's going to really affect your life because it's a void. What does that look like?
Sometimes you have to be the bigger person and say, hey, okay, I needed a break. Or you might needed a break and you didn't know you need a break. Mm-hmm. So at some point when you come back to that friendship, so it's either you reach out to them and you say, hey, this is where I've been, this is what I've done. And if you are really close friends, that friend will know, hey, I understand my friend needed a break.
So is it more difficult to communicate the break, or is it more difficult to go back after the break?
It depends on the person. Sometimes it's harder to communicate the break, and then you just say, hey, well, the person, if that's your friend, really true friend, they will understand why you took the break.
Okay. Who else?
But for me, I'm going through it now with 2 different friends. One of my friends I've been friends with since high school. We lived together. We raised our kids together. our kids in the same school. We do everything together. She has driven me crazy for the last 6 months. I can't take her right now. No, I haven't said and told her I can't take you right now. You get on my nerves. Why? Because she can't handle it that way. But what I have done was I just haven't had time.
You pull back.
Yeah. But we have had talks in between where randomly I'm like, you really got a smart mouth. And she goes, no, you do too.
So it sounds like it's difficult and more challenging for you to even say,
Just
I
talk
want
about
to take
it.
the break.
Because she's not one of those people who you can communicate it with and she could understand it. She would kind of be like, okay, well, that's not true. And she was, or she's really good at saying it's not my fault. And I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying we have an
There's
issue.
no ownership, like
So
I was
for
saying.
that, I just step back and we see each other all the time because we're literally connected. We can't really separate each other. But I can't separate hanging out with you every day. I can see you and not hang out with you every day. And if you miss me, you'll notice it. And you'll say, hey, where you been? I've been out. Then I can tell you, well, because you've been getting on my nerve. I've been unavailable.
I like the idea of communicating the break. Or if it's a meaning, that's kind of like awkward. Like, I need a break from you. Right? So maybe they don't understand it. But I guess I like the idea of you're getting on my nerves. We're not getting along. Something like that. It's like a timeout for the relationship. I think it gets a little bit more challenging if it's your mate. Because what does that look like? Is it a separation? Is it a solo vacation? What happens if you realize, I need more than 5?
500.
Or just like severed for real. Or so what happens if it's a little closer? With this mate, the spouse, the boyfriend, the lover, a family member, a sister, a brother, a grandmother.
I think we have to take it. Take the risk. I mean, because otherwise we're just living so silently unhappy. I just think that's so much worse than saying, you know what, this isn't working. We need to do something, and maybe nobody knows what to do, and you say, you know what, I'm going to go. We're going to spend some time apart. And just take the risk. It's so difficult, even in a close relationship. But I just think living half full is just so much worse than.
I agree with that. I think that a lot of us tend to get comfortable with the unhealthy relationships in our life. I think that we just keep them, and then I don't think that we communicate. We just fall off.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, you just fall off.
You can
and
also,
stop caring.
I mean, depending with that relationship, is that you don't have to necessarily tell that person everything they're doing wrong. You can tell them the things that you want to do different in your life. And
So they can
if
start with self.
People will know that if I'm not lining up with what she's doing,
Ah.
then perhaps I either need to let her do what she's doing, because that's not what I want. My friends know that I don't like to gossip, so don't call me with gossip. Now, if we're going to say somebody did this, I'm not saying that I can't say that so-and-so was sleeping with so-and-so's wife. I'm not saying that we can't talk about it. But don't call me so we can laugh at them. If we're not going to pray with them or try to see how we can help them or whatever, or it's a situation that we're just speaking about it, then we're going to speak about it. But don't just call me out. Unless I have one or two, I actually really have one person that I will say some stuff that only she will hear me say, that it is the fact about that person or situation, but I wouldn't explain it to that person, which means I could be my real, my real other person name, and like she won't judge me. But that's only if I'm trying to be funny. But do not call me with gossip.
Do you think that you can have a relationship though with someone if you don't line up? Like, and I'm
you have friends for different reasons. I mean, this
Right.
person might be fun to hang out with. This the person I can call and cry to about stuff. This the person I can gossip with. And I mean, you have friends for different reasons.
Right. If we want to take a break, as we say at the 5, take 5. I think if we explain it to that individual, I want to do something like this. Going back to, I'm not really lining up. Like, I'm not drinking anymore. I'm not drinking for the next.
So you put it on self.
Put it on self.
I like that.
And then
That's
people
a
can
different
either
way of.
decide. Then you won't lose the respect, or you won't have the clashing of your friend, because you don't want to lose your friend.
So what happens if it's a mate though?
Right.
Same thing.
Same
Same
thing.
thing.
See, I try to
I'm just
live my-
wondering, how does that work?
Well,
with the same thing.
I try to
We're
live
living
my
in the
life
same
by
house
principles.
together. I don't mean a drinking thing. I mean, I need to, like, we are not lining up on more than just drinking. Like, you can drink no longer, or healthy reasons or whatever. I just wonder, how do you do that when you're in the same space? What does that look like? Because I hear
You put it
separation.
on self again.
Okay, you put it on
He
self.
likes to eat chips. This is not a true story. He likes to eat chips and cake, and now I'm on. The
But
healthy
I'm not
cake.
talking about the eating habits. I'm talking about you need to take, because holistically, you got on my damn nerves. Like, I need a break.
Yeah, we can't communicate anymore.
Right, it's more than-
we don't want to make love anymore.
We don't hang out.
We can nothing is
Yeah.
nothing's clicking.
You said it's a doghouse. Well, no. But wait, could that work though? If you know, I need a break. Right? Joy is all about love, right? And so Pinterest says, it's the doghouse, but I'm kind of, is there temporary housing? Like the
No,
separation?
I don't want to see you.
Okay.
I couldn't. I mean, I would probably just not liking you all together
Forever?
forever.
Well, I've been married for 10
So
years.
you're
I don't
like
wanna see
a little bit, she said either I'm on or I'm off. You said if I get to that
I just don't want to see you, because it's like everything you do is getting on my nerves.
Yes.
So it's
That's
like
true.
if the love.
You can't just. But what if you got a baby? Maybe. What if you
But
Yeah,
got
we
a
got a baby. We have a baby, but I'm saying I love you, but I love you. So if the love is there, we can take our 5-minute break, and if we cycle back to where we were before, if that can happen, that can happen.
Yeah.
But I can't have you in the back house and I'm in the main house and I still have to see you. No.
No.
And I want you to do your thing.
What about
I
a
want you to
solo
do your thing, I
vacation?
do my thing.
Yeah.
No, that's not long.
It's not long enough.
No.
Because I think with women, if we get to the point where you have really got on our nerves and I need a break,
Well,
then we have endured it for a really
I agree.
long
Yeah.
time. We've been
And we're ready for a real break.
Yeah.
I think
Exactly.
realistically, we as people, men and women, we paint this thing that everything is going to be great. What's how you say at the end of those happy
Rose colored.
Happily ever after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It doesn't work like that. There's going to be a season in your relationship. It may be a month. It may be 365 days that it's not. You guys are in the same book, but you're not in the same chapter. And we as individuals need to understand we're in the same book. But see, we get confused that because we're not in the same chapter, we need to close the book and put it on a shelf.
So you think that's because you're long term. You've been married for a long time,
Right.
so you have a long
Well-
term marriage. Did you took a break? Wait a minute. That laugh. Did you take a break, Candy? Did you take five?
I did not. He took a 6-year break.
He took.
We were actually divorced.
And you remarried?
No, I remarried him.
Oh, okay.
I remarried him.
Mm-hmm.
But once he started seeing my standards within those 6 years, he's like, "Oh, you're a different person." I'm like, "Yeah, you're a different person." I got on his nerve. But we were like,
before the divorce.
So you did take a break,
"No, I did not. He did.
Okay.
He divorced me."
And he came back. Okay.
but the break happened.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It doesn't matter. It really. I understand what you're saying but the break happened,
Yeah.
and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Is that it needed to happen,
No,
even
it
if it
didn't.
just needed to happen for him,
It
because
needs-
something works after that break.
Well, I get that, but that goes back to what I'm saying. He had to realize, and we as individuals, we were in the same book, but because we weren't on the same chapter, we as individuals get confused and think that we should close the book and put it on.
But
the
that's
shelf.
from that you're
we can't
speaking
diminish
to-
we can't diminish the organic process
Mm-hmm.
of him needing the break. I mean, I'm just
I
saying,
agree. I'm not saying that. I'm not diminishing
and
that.
I love that, because I'm just saying,
Right.
I love that you guys got back together, and I love that it works, because I think I understand the need for the break. I get it.
Al is like in a place where I need the break.
But the need for the break comes from within in the
It does.
individual
It
because
does.
they couldn't process what's going on in the book.
Right.
So they're confused of what book they're reading. I'm just using this as a metaphor. That they're confused